Warning, disturbing content awaits. Anyway, today is the Cranberry Smelling Freaks Part 2. Dun dun dun! Anyway, so we have Bobo the Clown. He's a killer clown, obviously. Like, what is he not holding? Anyway, we have No Name. And then we have Gerald. No. Sorry, that's a terrible name. Stanley. Let's call him Stanley. Anyway, now Miss No Face or whatever, No Name, told Bobo to kill the Copper Man, and so the poor Copper Man got murdered. No, stupid spear, come back, come back. There we go. And then, no, you stupid. You dumb I said, no, you dumb spear. I said, turn. There we go. And then it went. It was supposed to hit him at least in the back of the head, not rip him in half. And so the spear just magically went to nowhere. And then I said, he was dead. And then the creepy, ugly clown face man took the corpse and he fed it to No Face. No, I'm not that messed up, okay? I'm not that crazy. What is that stupid sound? What the? And then Miss No Face or No Name, whatever, threw his body in there. And then she threw his hand, well, lower arm. And then she went, but no. She went, and then it smashed into I said it smashed into the cake, and boom. She threw the infected cake with the Grimace shake in it into there. And then the machine was turned on. Dun, dun, dun. And then Grimace was born. He woke up and he couldn't get out the stupid container. So he smashed it forward. And then it smacked the witch in her head and she went, Arr! And she went flying back and hit Bobo with his ugly face. And then he went, and he turned as he was in the air. And then he went, ugh. And splash, his head went kaboom. Like his killing streak. Oh, and he's killed millions in the past. And then Grimace was like, time to exit. And then he literally forced the thing up, smashing the crates. And then Grimace was so crazy that he literally automatically re-healed himself. And then he went up. And then this thing just went. I said it went. Well, you know what? It went into the air. It went smashing, and it went tumble. And Mr. Grimace Head, he went. The wire short-circuited, causing the fire, and the place started to burn. Burn, I say burn. And then, splash, the machine went and touched the fire. I said, I said, the machine went blam, like, no. Oh, that was clutch right there. And then that went smack. Why can it not just, oh, okay. One trick up my sleeve that can go. I can just go. No, I cannot. Well, I want to just burn. I want it to burn. You know what? Oh. Whoa. And Grimace got out of there as soon as he could. And then he waddled on his big, well, not big, but his tiny toes, and he hit the ugly lady in her face, and she went, ooh. And he continued to fly, like, he could fly. He believed that he could fly. And Grimace broke his toes. And he hit his head on the concrete. And so he magically re-healed himself. And he couldn't get up. So then he flipped. He got up. And the witch lady was dead. But do you really think she would go down that easily? She got up. She was like, I created you. I made you, and I can take you out. So then she flipped over. And then she picked up Bobo's dead body. And she went. And Grimace was no more. And this was many, 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 many years ago. However, one thing she didn't know about Grimace is that you made the biggest threat, and he created a weapon, the Grimace Shake, that could re-heal him, but destroy anyone else, and he would kill those who drank the Grimace Shake. And then he re-healed himself. However, there was a side effect. There was 2 Grimaces now. This second Grimace tried to attack the old witch lady. And you know what she did? She pulled out her magical staff. The staff of stinkiness. That's what it's called. Staff of stinkiness. And then she wielded her wand, her magical wand. And then she said, come at... Wait, what? Uh-oh. Don't touch the ugly lady. I said... There we go. Now we just go like that. And then she got upset. And then this Grimace, he went, and then she went, she extended her arm out. And he went, and then the old lady was like, she went, I am superior one, Grimace. I made you stupid Grimace things. And I can take you out. So she continued to wield her magical wand. And then, she started chasing the Grimace. Stop dying on me. But, you know what happened? Her magical wand started eating her own head off. And then it started eating her core, her body, whatever was left of it, I guess you could say. It started eating the nightmare of her. And boom, her body was no more. And then the Grimace over here, I think he just got eaten. Oh. And then there was 2 Grimaces. And one was like, Urgh! And then this Grimace was like, Ugh! And was flying. And it smacked into the other Grimace. And then the wand went. And it went full on smack in the face. However, Grimace had a second plan. He would throw one of his toes away. So he could, he threw one of his toes away. There we go. And then this leg. And then, Grimace was dying. He was dying. Because Grimace was Grimace. And then the stupid wand came back for round 2. And it went smack! And it smacked in the Grimace for a second time. And all there was left was this singular freaking leg piece. But before, there was the foot. And then they started to work together. And then they connected. And you know what happened? It healed. It brought back the one and only Grimace. And then, boom. Grimace was reborn for the 3rd time. His 3rd reincarnation. However, this time, there was something planned ahead. So you know what happened? What? You know what? I can't find it. I'll have to create it. The year had passed, and there was new coppers. There was no longer just cops. There was now SWAT team. Dun, 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 dun. Because now society has been advancing, improving. And now Grimace had a whole bounty on his head. Wanted dead only. And so, you know how many people tried it? Hundreds. No. Millions. Thousands. And then there was this man who tried and tried. And it got so bad where he started creating something no one else would have thought of. He started going crazy. Boom. And he started throwing them in there. And then, you know what he did? He mixed the ammunitions to create this. And he attached it onto his gun. And then he got a whole freaking tomato dummy. And then he picked up his rifle. And then he held it. And then he went and boom. He was like, I can hunt down Grimace now for sure. And the corpse ended up disintegrating. And the man, he was hunting down Grimace. And I said, no, not, whatever. He lost his parachute a long time ago. And then he was on the move, hunting down Grimace once and for all. But Grimace was dead. And he was like, Grimace, no. Because he wanted, oh no, not Michael Jackson, man. There. And he was like, no, Grimace. Why? Just why? And he was like, your bullet killed me. However, Grimace had that magical power and nobody thought he did. And he went, I'm Grimace. Feel my wrath. And the guy went, and And then his gun went out of his hands, and he went, and it went right to Grimace. But Grimace, it tripped Grimace, and he was like, and then it's Grimace, and he went, oh. And his gun was like, my trusty gun saved me. And he went, my gun. He literally jumped for the gun. And he was like, oh, my precious gun. And he picked it up. And he was holding it. However, Grimace was gonna do the same tactic he did earlier before to a different person, and then it went. Two Grimaces were here. However, he was like, it's an ugly Grimace, not knowing that there was two. He just went that thing, and then more Grimaces were made. Different Grimaces. And then there was another Grimace being born. There was multiple Grimaces being made. And then he was like, there's too many. However, he learned not to fear. And so you know what he did? All the Grimaces were like, wee. And then he went, he went, sayonara, and then he went, and then the Grimace went, and then he turned on the machine, as the Grimace was like, no, let me out, and as the machine turned on, it was like, and it ate Grimace. Oh yeah. And then the Grimace disintegrated, and he was like, and then the Grimace was like, no. And then he went, just barely managing to dodge. And he went, oh. This Grimace also fell for the same little trap. Because they're stupid. The Grimace race is dumb. They aren't smart. And he was like, and it crushed his limbs. And it started smashing into things. And it was like, and then the machine started, and it smashed into a Grimace, and then it went, however, it got sent flying back, because the broom was pulling it, and then it was like, and it hit the wand, only for the wand to start dispersing its smoke, and then it started smacking into stuff, and it was like, it was like, and then the poor copper man was like, and then the poor copper man was like, and he was like, gotta get my potion, and it stabbed into him, and he was like, and he was like, I'm alive, and I'm good as new, and so the copper man got up, and he picked up his gun, and he went, and he started smashing it. But for some reason, the gun went off. Oh, and smacked into his foot. It was like, However, his little pocket potion thing managed to like stab him last second. He was like, He was like, I'm ugly. Oh, and he was like, Mr. Gun, don't do that again, Mr. Gun. And he reached towards the gun, and then he picked up the gun, and he was like, yay, I acquired the gun. And then he picked up the gun. He was like, yes. He said I've acquired the gun. The precious, beautiful gun. And then he had the gun now. He could do whatever he wanted with it. But then, Grimace was back. And Grimace started to regenerate, and he was like, oh, hell no. He was like, die, Grimace. He was like, Grimace. And the fat Grimace thing was like, and he was like, oh, I missed. And he was like, and he was like, and he continued to shoot the Grimace. And he was like, die. And so then the Grimace was like, and the Grimace was dead. And then that was the end. Oh yeah, and don't forget the Copper Man accidentally, let's just say he accidentally shot his own foot, and he went, and his head got caught in the fire. And he went, and he smacked into stuff as he went flying. He got flung. And then he went, like, he started turning into roast beef, like the 3 little pigs, except there was only one, him. Oh wait, I forgot, you can't make beef with cow. What am I even saying? Anyway, I realized you can't even make roast beef with pigs. And his body went, and he got sent flying. There's still remnants of Bobo. That's hilarious. Alright. Well, that was the end of the video. Bye. I hope you enjoyed.